Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 26th Westfield State University Athletic Hall of Fame Banquet. My name is Dave Caspol. I'm the Associate Athletic Director here at Westfield State, and we are thrilled you're here tonight to celebrate the accomplishments of the best that Westfield State University has had to offer, both the student athletes in the arena and after graduation in their varied professional careers. The individuals you meet tonight have set records, won game upon game, and helped pioneer the way for the success our student athletes enjoy today. The highlight of this evening is always the remarks of our inductees. You'll find moments and memories that include the thrilling, the comedic, the touching, and the heartfelt, and I hope you'll sit back and enjoy the tour through the history of Westfield State athletics this evening. As we begin, first I would like to introduce my fellow members of our Athletic Hall of Fame Committee. I'm joined on the committee by Dick Glenfest, our athletic director. Nancy Balls, our Senior Associate Athletic Director. Our at-large members, Karen Gomez, from class of '96 in field hockey. Ken McGarrion, our retired athletics director. Paul Wally from the class of 1976, soccer player and himself a Hall of Famer. And Dr. Carlton Pickron, the retired Vice President of Student Life. And having met the committee, I'd like to introduce you to our individual inductees this evening. First, Bill Lownds from the class of 1975. A member of the 1974 men's soccer Final Four team. Bill's escorted in by Ryan Dennehy, one of the captains from our current team. Cheryl Bassett from the class of 1988. Standout shortstop for the Owls softball team. She's escorted in by Sarah Huff, the Owls current shortstop from our 32-win team last season. Don Jones from the class of 2004. One of the all-time leading rushers from the Owls football team. He's escorted in by Butter Ferrer, the captain of the 2025 Owls football team. Soltysiak from the class of 2008, a two-time All-American in track and field, escorted in by John Ware, top javelin thrower on our current team. Jen Ashton from the class of 2015, one of the top players in the history of Westfield State women's basketball. She's escorted in by Tavy Williams from our current women's basketball team. And finally, Bob Barrowman, representing the 1975 baseball team. Bob's one of the seniors from the Owls NCAA regional finalists. He's escorted in by Sam Palmer, an all-region outfielder for our team. Folks, this is our Hall of Fame class of 2025. You'll have the chance to learn much more about their outstanding careers as the evening progresses. Right now, I'd like to invite our honored guests to return to their seats with their friends and families. And I'd like to welcome Senior Associate Athletic Director Nancy Balls up to give our invocation this evening.
Thanks, Dave. Friends, Friends, colleagues, distinguished guests, and alumni, please join me in a moment of reflection as we prepare for our meal. We gather tonight united by a shared appreciation for excellence and the transformative power of sport. We are here to honor those who, through their unwavering dedication, fierce determination, and profound sportsmanship, have etched their names into the rich history of Westfield State athletics. Tonight, we celebrate 5 remarkable individuals whose personal journeys on the field, court, or track embodied the spirit of athletic distinction. Each brought unique talent, relentless effort, and an inspiring will to succeed. Their stories remind us of the incredible potential within each of us. And tonight, we also recognize the profound power of collective achievement as we induct a legendary baseball team. Their story is one of synergy, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bonds forged when individuals unite for a common goal, proving that together extraordinary feats are possible. Both our individual inductees and our celebrated team exemplify resilience, character, and the lasting impact one can have on a team, a community, and future generations. As we celebrate their induction into this esteemed Hall of Fame, let us draw inspiration from their legacies. May this evening be filled with genuine camaraderie, heartfelt gratitude, and joy in the recounting tales of triumph and enduring commitment. May the stories shared tonight ignite a renewed passion for striving for greatness, and may the bonds forged through sport continue to strengthen our community, fostering respect, resilience, and shared ambition for all. With open hearts and appreciative spirits, let us now commence this celebratory gathering. Thank
you. If Nancy had any good jokes, we have her roast next year. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time it's my pleasure to introduce the president of Westfield State University, Dr. Linda Thompson.
Good evening, and welcome to the 26th Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony, a highlight of our homecoming celebration. Westfield State University's athletic program truly embodies the heart, soul, and spirit of our campus community. Our athletes, coaches, and supporters are a vital connection for our alumni and a source of pride for the entire university. Through their travels, they act as ambassadors, introducing many new individuals to Westfield State. I am incredibly proud to be among so many who have worn the uniform of a Westfield State Owl. Your dedication and success, both on and off the field, provides powerful examples of how our students and current student athletes could follow. The life of a student athlete is demanding, filled with classes, exams, and often a job, all in addition to daily practices and travel. As many of you remember, it can be a grueling schedule, yet our athletes handle it all with remarkable grace and poise. Tonight, induction into this Hall of Fame signals a special achievement. It recognizes the best of the best. It is a testament not only to the hard work, dedication, and tenacity that can lead to greatness, but also to true excellence. These moments showcase that excellence can inspire us all. I would like to offer my heartfelt congratulations to our 2025 Hall of Fame inductees, Bill Lownds, I hope I did that right, Cheryl Bassett, Don Jones, Drew Soltysiak, and this year's team of distinction, our 1975 baseball team. I want to thank Athletic Director Dick Lindfest and his dedicated staff, along with all the coaches, managers, and team support who made this evening possible. And finally, thank you to our athletes, past and present, who represent true owl spirit, Your accomplishments will never be forgotten, and your achievements are an inspiration to every life that you touch. Thank you, and enjoy your dinner.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thompson. Westfield Bank has provided great support to the university and the greater Westfield community for a number of years and serves as the lead sponsor of our Hall of Fame inductions. Bank President Jim Hagan is well known to many of you as a member of the class of 1984 and a member of the Westfield State University Board of Trustees. So again, our thanks to Jim and Westfield Bank for their sponsorship of this evening. Right now, it's time for dinner, and our dining staff will invite your tables up to the buffet one by one. And then as dinner comes to a close, we'll have a slideshow that features the history of Westfield State University athletics and a number of past and present Hall of Fame inductees. After that, we'll be back to continue with our program for our inductees this evening. Thank you. Good evening once again, everyone. We're going to commence with our program. This is one of the busiest and most important weeks of the year at Westfield State. And as we host homecoming and prepare for this ceremony and keep the wagon rolling along with our Smith Cup winning teams, with almost all our teams in action, whether regular season or preseasons, it's a very busy time of year, and a heartfelt thank you to our entire athletic staff and our event and catering crew and everyone who helps chip in tonight to make this the signature night of the athletics year. So a round of applause for our staff and for our catering crew. I'd like to identify a couple of folks in the room. We have two trustees here this evening. I'd like to welcome Melissa Alvarado and Mike O'Rourke. We have Westfield State Vice Presidents Kevin Hearn and Lisa McMahon. We have a couple of past Vice Presidents here, Dr. Carlton Pickron and Tim Murphy. As we prepare to induct our newest class into the Hall of Fame, I'd also like to take a moment to recognize one Hall of Famer we lost since we last gathered here. We lost Dr. Carl Leiker since our last induction. Dr. Leiker was our 2013 Hagan Award winner for support of all athletics. Dr. Leiker helped coach football early in his career as a professor at Westfield State, a regular fixture as a fan at our basketball, football games, and track meets, even after his retirement, and of course the best weatherman we ever had when forecasting rainouts, except for that one homecoming where it snowed a foot and a half. But Dr. Leiker was a constant presence around our athletic department, and he is missed. Changing gears, I'd also like to welcome our past Hall of Fame inductees who are attending tonight. I think we have a record number of past Hall of Famers in the room, 23 by my count. Folks, as I introduce you, if you could just rise or give a wave. First, we have Carlton Steele from the inaugural Hall of Fame class in 1994. Marion Tully McGee from the class in 1998. Mark Pananos from the class of 2002. Joyce O'Donnell and Gary Beard from the class of 2005. From the class of 2007, Deb O'Reilly Klein, Jason Franklin, and Jack Doherty. The class of 2008, Russ Hammond and Dave Brown. Class of 2009, Andrea Bertini. From 2011, Kathy Norton. 2012, Mike Perry. 2014, Paul Wally. 2015, Mike Walker. 2016, Mickey Curtis. David Bergeron. 2018, Coach Marino. 2021, big class, Chris Streeter, Marley Berg Harriaz, and Ken McGarrian. Kenny, would you like to say a few words? And I hope I didn't miss any of our returning Hall of Famers. Thank you all very much for being back this evening. Al Streeter, sorry Al. Sorry, Al. Two of that group will be further honored this year, as Carlton Steele, Mickey Curtis have both been selected for induction to the Massachusetts State Collegiate Athletic Conference Hall of Fame. They are two great choices by that committee. We will highlight Mickey at tomorrow's football halftime, and plans in place. Carlton's going to come back and throw out a ceremonial first pitch for a baseball game this spring and be further recognized in the spring. So congratulations to both Mickey and Carlton. And on to our program. As part of the Hall of Fame committee, we strive to identify alumni who are most deserving of induction, and each year our candidate pool gets replenished, if not enhanced, as some of the more recent graduates become eligible for consideration. I think it was Ferris Bueller who said time moves pretty fast, and we now have the internet, live stream video, digital photos, and more. And for some of us, 1974 doesn't seem that long ago, but you realize your institutional memory starts to fade, and when you dive into research, you find a few yellowed newspaper articles and some handwritten stat sheets, and you realize how far we've come, and also the accounts of teammates and coaches become even more critical in moving candidates forward in our Hall of Fame process. And that was the case with our first inductee, as his teammates were extremely vocal in supporting his candidacy for the Hall of Fame. Bill Lownds was a key component on the flank for Coach John Curdy's strong Westfield State soccer teams in the early 1970s. Bill's teams won 3 MASCAC titles, advanced to 1 ECAC tournament and 2 NCAA tournaments, including being part of the 1974 Division III Final Four team, the only Westfield State men's team to advance that far in any tournament. The 1975 yearbook notes that Bill set a program record for consecutive games played, starting every game as a sophomore, junior, and senior. The 4-year team record was 56 wins, 14 losses, and 7 ties, winning almost 80% of their games over his 4 seasons. Bill tallied a pair of goals in the first-round NCAA playoff win over the Coast Guard Academy in 1974, helping spur that team's Final Four run. He graduated ranked in the top 10 in goals, assists, and points, and his 16 assists in the 1973 season is still the 4th best total in program history. Bill went on to have a 36-year career teaching at the elementary and secondary school levels, and among his coaching stops, he led Hopkins Academy to a Western Mass soccer title, and at Princeton Tech in Hartford, he was the school's coach of the year in 1989-90 when he coached 3 sports. After graduating from Westfield, Bill stayed active athletically and ran 7 Boston marathons, including running 3:28 with former Owls teammate and team captain Mike Walker. A native of East Hampton, Massachusetts, who now resides in Agawam, Bill's been married to his wife Mary for 45 years. They have 2 daughters that Bill coached in youth soccer and basketball, and 4 grandsons, all of whom are here tonight to celebrate with him. Please join me in welcoming Bill Lownds to the Westfield State University Athletic Hall of Fame.
Gotta put the glasses on. Well, I have to say the view up here is very, very different. I'm humbled, honored, and very happy tonight. I do want to make one point of clarification though. The 75 next to my name in the program is the year I graduated. I'm much, much younger than that. I want to give my sincere thanks to the whole Hall of Fame committee for even considering my candidacy. And of course, I'm going to offer my heartfelt congratulations to all tonight's inductees, especially the 75 baseball team of, lost my train of thought as far as team of distinction, that's it. And of course, the great Coach Ralph. There were 3 players on that 75 baseball team that also were on the 74 soccer team of distinction. They are Carl Steele, Mike Gauthier, and Steve Mancini. What a year for them. I'm not going to try and sum up 4 years of life here at Westfield State because obviously you can't. And I'm not going to be talking about goals, assists, points, or anything of that nature. But I'm going to talk about 4 years of teammates. And I intentionally brought all 4 of my yearbooks here so that team pictures would be there. Those guys mean a lot to me. And I'm also going to be talking about our facilities that we had back then, which will lead me to the great Coach Curdy. We had a lot of great players, but they were even better people off the field. All 4 years of teammates, they're why I'm here tonight. Captains Paul Wally and Mike Walker somehow took a great team culture and made it better our junior and senior years. It's an honor to join them and all the other soccer players who are in the Westfield State Hall of Fame. Our 74 team is still close, and not too long ago, through the grapevine, I heard about an email that was going around on behalf of my nomination. I knew right then and there that I had my best foot going forward, and because of them, here I am. And that's because back then, in 1971, 72, 73, 74, we looked after each other on the field and off the field. All these years later, we still do. So a heartfelt thanks to all my teammates. The 4 teams that I had the privilege of playing on were the purest teams I've ever been on. Every team will tell you they want to win, but few, if ever, live that talk. We did. We did. Our big guns were just as happy if someone else scored, got an assist, or just made a great play that helped us win. And believe me, that kind of team camaraderie is extremely rare. Because of that, I flourished on the field, I flourished off the field. It was a tremendous team culture to be a part of for those 4 years. I knew I was where I was supposed to be. Now, I did mention facilities. Gotta talk about it. Nowadays, you have the beautiful Woodward building, the turf field, and all the surrounding playing and practice fields. We, on the other hand, had Parenzo Gym. We had the locker rooms connected to Parenzo Gym. Our field was where that globe stands now, and when it rained hard, the only 4 things above the water were the 4 corner flags. We played a game in those conditions. We really did. And now I'm getting to something that some of you have heard over the years, the crown jewels of the Westfield State soccer program back then. And they were, of course, our 15 muddy, waterlogged, heavy, misshapen soccer balls. That was our program. By the way, if you add all 4 teams together, you come up with about 100 people. We're supposed to be college students, relatively smart. You think one of us would have said, let's just pool our money and buy 15 new soccer balls. Didn't happen. So in the face of those facilities, it would have been understandable if players left. Maybe many players. But we didn't for one simple reason. Coach John Curdy. Excellence followed Coach wherever he went. At Ludlow High School, he's in the Hall of Fame twice, player and coach. He went to Penn State. Yes, the Penn State, and he's in their Hall of Fame as a player for soccer and baseball. And of course here at Westfield State, he's in the Hall of Fame twice here as a coach and a professor. As some of you know, all the way back then, Coach had a very unique and wonderful style about him. And because of that, there wasn't a practice that I didn't look forward to in my 4 years. Coach would roll in on his bike, he'd say something or do something, or just tell a joke, and he'd have us all in stitches. But he worked as hard. And when you looked around on the field, we knew he had to work hard because there was incredible talent on that field. I want to tell you the impact that those 4 soccer teams had on my life and my coach. And my coach was a big part of that. At the end of my fall freshman year, I had poured a ton of effort into soccer. Not so much academics. So when grades came out, you might imagine, I was no threat for the dean's list. I was a threat for the undean's list. But I survived, and so I had a major decision to make that winter break. Was Westfield State the place for me, or did I need to find another avenue in life? Now you might think I was thinking about careers. That's logical, but you'd be wrong. All I thought about was I need to do whatever I need to do to play soccer for Coach Curdy and alongside all my teammates for the next 3 years. So I did the unthinkable for me. I always went to class before that, but now, not only did I go to class, I actually knew who the teacher was. I paid attention. I took notes. I asked questions in class. I asked questions after class. I studied, I joined study groups, and I studied on my own. And you know what? Just like on the soccer field, if you go over something over and over again, you get better at it. And the result of that was a successful 36-year career in education. I owe to my 4 years of teammates and my coach, Coach Curdy. As I start to sum up, I know there's a group down in Myrtle Beach, a golfing group, and they've got a couple of my teammates with their group, Denny LaPrade and Denny Dugas. So I just want to say hi to them and have a Myrtle Beach soda for me, fellas. And I do need to mention one other thing. On that 74 team, Denny Dugas, a Hall of Famer, was on that team. Denny LaPrade was on that team. Willie Sorensen, who lives in Ohio, was on that team. And I was on that team. We were all from East Hampton High School, little town about a half hour from here. Pretty good representation on that team. And so finally, tonight is a night I'm going to remember forever. It's a wonderful honor, but I truly have to say the highest honors of my life are over on that table. My wonderful family, my wife Mary, our daughter Amy, her husband Matt, their sons Gus and Leo, and our daughter Nikki, her husband Sean, and their sons Cal and Riley. And with that, I will just say thank you very much.
Congratulations, Bill. We know Coach Streeter's doing a good job. We have Carter Dodrill and Carter Hebert from East Hampton on the soccer team right now. So still turning out great players for us. Regarded by many as the best shortstop in the history of the Westfield State softball program, Cheryl Bassett earned all-conference and all-American, academic All-American honors in her playing career. A 4-year starter at shortstop for the Owls, Cheryl was named as an all-conference pick for freshman season and was selected as a GTE COSIDA Academic All-American as a junior when she batted .402 with 23 RBI while carrying a 3.56 grade point average. She captained the Owls as a senior when she led the team in triples and total bases. For her career, Cheryl batted .308 with 101 hits, 55 runs scored, and 44 RBI, 25 stolen bases. In Cheryl's playing career, the team had an overall record of 65-43, won a MASCAC title in her freshman year, and made 3 appearances in the ECAC tournament, winning the title in 1987 as the number 3 seed, when the team matched the then school record with 20 wins on the season. Cheryl was a 3.3 sport high school standout at East Longmeadow, where she was an all-Western Mass pick in softball and basketball, and an all-state selection in soccer. She graduated from Westfield State with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a minor in psychology. Induction into the Westfield State Hall of Fame is just the latest in a string of honors for Cheryl Bassett, who was named the 2018 Westfield State University Alumna of the Year, and in 2017 was inducted into the Westfield State University Criminal Justice Hall of Fame. In light of her athletic accomplishments, her record after graduating from Westfield State is equally as impressive, as she served in a variety of federal investigative roles spanning 28 years, with most of those years as a special agent with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. She received multiple awards for her successful work, to include the dismantlement of international human smuggling organizations, a long-standing document fraud rings. Cheryl spent much of her later career focused on human trafficking. Retiring from public service, she served as the director of the Human Trafficking Training Initiatives with the McCain Institute for International Leadership in Washington, D.C. Now officially retired, Cheryl dedicates time cultivating and mentoring the next generation of law enforcement leaders. She's been very engaged on campus with her federal contacts to build internships and scholarship opportunities for Westfield State students. She's a lifetime member of the Women in Law Federal Enforcement Organization and Foundation, and is very active in fundraising for its scholarship fund with a focus on sponsoring Westfield State students. Cheryl now splits her active retirement life between the beaches of Delaware and the deserts of Arizona with her wife Amy. While softball is still a favorite pastime, biking, running, walking, and golfing are now her athletic activities of choice. Please welcome Cheryl Bassett to the Westfield State University Athletic Hall of Fame.
Tough act to follow. You set me up. Did a great job. I'm honored to be in the same class as you. So I'm extremely humbled and honored, as Bill said. We're probably all going to use those same words tonight. To be inducted into the Westfield State University Athletics Hall of Fame. Thanks to those who nominated me. Just like you, Bill, I heard some buzzing. That maybe Mickey Curtis had something to do with that. He was our sports information director when I was at Westfield State back in the 80s. Also, Marnie Dacko, who's not able to be here tonight. She's home for a celebration of life. She lost her mom recently, but she's with the Westfield State Foundation, and she was a D1 player and a D1 coach at UMass Amherst for basketball. So it means a lot to me when you have somebody that follows the game statistically and recognizes, who really plays the game well, and also coming from a Division I perspective. It's quite an honor to have those two people, if I'm correct, and who is responsible for me getting here tonight. But that means a lot. It means a lot to me. I also want to thank the Westfield State Athletics Director, Dick Lenfest, who, it's so impressive to come back here and see the work that he's doing with him and his staff to make athletics continue to be as great as it was, even though we didn't have the greatest facilities back in the day. You definitely have a lot more than what we did. Also, Dave Caspol, he's just great on making sure that everything runs smoothly, so thank you, Dave, for that. And also to the selection committee for selecting me for this induction. That means a lot to me that people looked at me on paper because it was quite a long time ago that I was here at Westfield State, and to be able to look at paper and think that I was worthy of this
award. I appreciate that. I'm going to share 3 points with you tonight, and maybe letting you know what those 3 points are up front, and that it's only 3, that maybe Dave won't get the hook out and pull me off the stage too early. So the first one is what this induction means to me. The second will be how sports prepared me for a career in law enforcement, because we all have to get a job after we play the games and study here. And the third is I'm going to want to recognize all the people who shaped me to become the athlete that I was at Westfield State University, and also the person that I am today. And I think you're going to see that I have a lot of support, and I didn't do this on my own. Some of the people are in this room, and some people, unfortunately, are no longer with us. So the first point, what the induction means to me. So to explain this award, what this award means to me, and because we're in an academic setting, I thought it would be most appropriate to share some data, and I think Mickey will appreciate this, to help provide some context, because we all need a little bit of perspective, and I say that for my high school friend Chrissy Sullivan. I always use that word. She says that I always need to put things into perspective, and I think data helps us do that sometimes. So I think everybody in this room, I would expect you, if you're here at the Athletics Hall of Fame, that you understand what batting averages are based on. One piece of data that was used as a positive for my induction was my batting average of 400 in my junior year and a little bit over 300 overall. So we accept these numbers as saying that's pretty good, right? Getting a hit, 1 out of the 3 times that we're up at bat, that's pretty good, right? So we understand that because we understand that it's 1,000 that it's based on, right? So we know what 300 means, we know what 400 means, but you'd have to know that it's based out of 1,000 to understand that concept. So I don't give this example to pat myself on the back, but to point out that statistics and data can definitely help explain the magnitude of a situation. The situation for me tonight is this induction. And it means a lot to me, it really does. As Bill said, I think you expressed it well, Bill, I'll remember this for the rest of my life, for sure. So statistics, the college I believe was established in 1839. We just celebrated our 185th anniversary, and Dr. Thompson did that so well last year to recognize that. And athletics have been a part of Westfield, and I'll pardon, if I make a mistake here, Mickey, because you are the statistician, but what I found was that athletics has been a part of this institution for a long time, and that the first football game, college football match here, was in 1869. That's a long time ago. Now, women started playing sports here at least as early as 1927. And I gathered that because it's always good to tell you the basis of your statistics. I got that because there was the first, or the earliest female inductee into the into the Westfield State Hall of Fame. She graduated in 1927. So that's 98 years ago, right? So we've had some women playing sports here for a long time. And I think there's something to be said about that. I could not find specific information on the first softball team. I don't know if Coach O'Donnell over here might know that, but I couldn't find that statistic. I didn't tap anybody because I know how busy Dave and the rest of the folks are putting this event together. But I did find that the very first softball player inducted into the Westfield State Hall of Fame was from the class of 1973. So that's 52 years ago, okay? Westfield State softball teams usually have about 18 players, give or take. 52 years of softball here at Westfield State, times 18 players, 936 players, okay? So I am the 12th softball player to be inducted into the Westfield State Hall of Fame. That's only 1.28% of Westfield State softball players that have been inducted into the Westfield State Hall of Fame. That means a lot to me. So when I was notified by Dick Lenfest and Dave Caspol that I had been elected, it really meant a lot. But once I gathered this data and calculated the statistics, it meant even more. And I think it'll mean a lot to me for the rest of my life. Hopefully those numbers change a little bit as we go forward. Right, Dick? Where is he? A little bit more recognition for those softball players. I'm sure there's more. So the second point, what I want to talk about is there's so many things team sports teach you. For me, to then go on to a career in law enforcement, I think I saw those skill sets translated very well into a federal career as a federal agent. I'll share with you just a few. I don't want to go into too many because I know there's a baseball team that doesn't want us up here too long tonight. I had some threats earlier today, but I think I can handle myself. I think I'll be okay tonight. So I'd say the number one concept that I learned here at Westfield State was teamwork. I think I learned that probably a little bit earlier on in playing sports, but I think it really hit home. Coach O'Donnell was amazing with making sure that, we were a team. There was no one individual that couldn't be replaced, and we'd still be a team. So how to work well with a team. So when I was working in law enforcement, I was a federal agent, and we never made an arrest on our own. So to have my teammates on board with me, sometimes I liked them, sometimes I didn't, sometimes they liked me, sometimes not so much. That was important to know that a law enforcement officer that you're working with also has your back. And so teamwork definitely was important to me because I wanted to feel as though they knew that I had their back, and likewise. And our goal, in sports, it's to win the game, but in law enforcement, it's to go home that night. So safety is key. So it was really important. Accountability is another quality highlighted by sports. I was on time, I was present, I put in the hard work, and I did my best because I didn't want to let down my teammates or my coach. Same thing in law enforcement. You certainly don't want to mess up on your team in law enforcement. And it was interesting with Coach O'Donnell. She's not a woman of many words, and I always knew when I did something well, and I always knew when I messed up. She didn't have to say much. She could just give that look. And that was certainly, for me, a lot more positives than there were negatives. The third aspect of skill sets that translated well from playing sports to law enforcement was time management. So when I graduated from high school and I came to college here at Westfield State, suddenly I had all this free time. I didn't have to wake up at the crack of dawn to get on the bus, to go into school and go through classes all day long and then play a sport and come home and do homework and do some chores maybe that my mom gave me, and then eventually go to bed. I came to college and I thought, wow, there's a lot of free time here. We can have some fun. Well, when you're playing sports, you don't have as much free time. And I actually think that was a blessing because you can get lost in that free time. And I definitely, playing basketball and softball, two sports, it took up my year. It really kept me on course. I had a work-study job. I had to put myself through college, not by choice, but by need. And so, it really helped me balance my time between studying and practicing and playing and of course, socializing and having a good time, because I definitely did that. I have a lot of people in the room that can attest to that tonight. And so lastly, I really want to give my gratitude to the folks here, because if I didn't get so much help from all the people in my life, I wouldn't be before you today. So I want to start out with people that are not physically in this room tonight, but they're definitely here in spirit. The most important person in my life was always my mom, Ann Bassett. She was amazing. I had her for 50 years of my life. Some people can't say that, so I'm very blessed for that. She was my biggest fan. She would try to make all the local games, no matter what the weather was. And so it's up on the table with my name there, but I wanted to share with you on April 8th of 1988, we were playing against Western New England College, and the Union News, the Springfield paper, was pretty good about covering sports for us here at Westfield State because we were a local school. So I made the front page a picture of me I think I did turn the double play, right, Coach? Trying to turn a double play, triple play, And so there's a great picture on me, and I'm very proud of it because they talk about the Red Sox on this side of my picture. They talk about the Bruins on this side of my picture. That's a proud moment in the Springfield paper, right? So I thought, that's really cool. But the real coolest part of this is, in that same newspaper on that same day, that photographer captured my mom at the game. This is an old paper, 1988. Still holding together though, you know? Not as good as the internet, but there's mom in a winter jacket. You know, April is supposed to be kind of nice out here in April, not so much when we play ball. She's in a jacket, winter jacket, and she has a blanket over her head because it's just so cold. But she's there. And he captured that photographer captured that. Second person that I want to, I will add one other thing about Mom. I got inducted into the Criminal Justice Hall of Fame in 2017. I haven't even been drinking. In 2017, and that was on April 8th of 2017. So it's kind of strange that that picture, when I looked at the date, I was sharing that with my niece, that it's the same date. Something positive and negative about that. Positive that I got inducted into the Westfield State Criminal Justice Hall of Fame, but she couldn't make it. She passed that afternoon. My grandmother, Stella Verratti, the old Italian woman, she passed away at the start of my senior year. Started my softball season my senior year, so she was with us until the end of March of 1984. And I wouldn't be here at Westfield without her because I needed $100 to secure my spot here at Westfield State. You just had $100 that you had to commit to the university, college at the time. And I didn't have the money, my mom didn't have the money, but Stella, we called her Bam Bam, she had the money. There she is, she was in her hospital bed, she passed just a few days after writing that $100 check for me. It was pretty amazing. I wouldn't be here without it. Sorry to be so somber. Bill had a lot of jokes in there. I apologize for that. So, my high school basketball and softball coach isn't here tonight. She is still with us, and so that's a positive, but she isn't able to be here with us tonight. She was very disappointed and called me sort of at the last hour, so to say, when she really had given it so much thought. She wanted to do the right thing, and I applaud her for it. She's helping to take care of a very dear family member of hers that is dealing with a serious medical condition. Her name is Mary Chikowski. Yup, she's from Chicopee. She was only about 9 or 10 years younger than me when she came to East Meadow High School, and she coached both basketball and softball. So I had her for my 4 years of my two favorite sports. And you know, Mary was an incredible coach, even though she was only in her early 20s, late 20s, I guess. She knew Coach O'Donnell. She was a D1 player. She played for UMass Amherst. But she was a teacher at the high school, and she was even a better coach, I would say, than she was than a teacher. And that's saying a lot, because she turned out to be a superintendent of the Agawam Public Schools, of the Barnstable Public Schools. She actually got recruited by a former East Long Meadow principal of ours, and also recruited at the end of her career for the Lexington school districts. So she was pretty amazing in her own right, academically, and in the teaching profession. But I thought she was a fantastic coach, and she couldn't have prepared me better for coming here to Westfield State to then be coached by Joyce O'Donnell. So she's the last person that I want to recognize, and she is here in the room with us tonight, and I'm very grateful for that. So Joyce, we called her OD, right? So Joyce, it's hard to even call her Joyce these days. It's just odd to me. I just see her still as OD, and I hope that's okay with you, Coach. So she was my coach here for 4 years, for my 4 years here at Westfield State. But it's really interesting because I wouldn't have played softball at Westfield State, as crazy as that sounds after what I just told you. But I came here and I played basketball first, right? So I was a freshman, and there was a coach here that really played to put it, just to put it bluntly, she really played to some favoritism. So if you were in the club, and my classmate Susie Schofield is here, she can attest to this as well. If you were sort of in the coaches club, then you would see some playing time. And if you weren't, then you were going to ride the pines. And boy, did we have some blisters, huh, Susie? Yeah, we did. So we were doing all the right things, everything coach asked us to do, trying to, fulfill what she wanted, working out, working hard at practices, being present, always on time, doing everything that she asked us to do. But I was riding the bench the entire season, and we're getting along around 3/4 of the way through the season. We're not that good. I'm saying, geez, well, me and Susie aren't that bad. We could probably see a little time there. So I asked her for a meeting, and kind of express my thoughts, as I'm usually not too shy about doing that, and it didn't go over so well. So I thought to myself, maybe college sports just aren't the same as high school sports. Maybe it's just a little different here. So it was a bad experience. But I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to be able to get a job playing basketball or softball, and I really need to work to keep paying for this education, so you know what? I'll just go ahead and continue with my studies, really focus on that, and get another job so I can pay it off quicker. Well, the rumor got around that I wasn't going to try out for the softball team. So a little bird flew over to OD and said, she's not going to try out. So I was in the library, as I often was here at Westfield State, and I came out into the student union, and there was OD. And I knew her because she had come to see me play in high school, and she said, "Girl," as she used to say. And boy, did I say that way too many times during practices to just nag at her, just because I was 17, 18, just a punk, And she said, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Sure. What's up, Coach?" And she said, I'm hearing a rumor that you're not going to try out for the team." I said, "Yeah, you heard that right." So I told her the story. She said, "Well, let me tell you something. I don't operate that way. You come out and try out," because I also said to her, I said, "I heard you got a senior shortstop, so, what am I going to, I play shortstop, that's what I play. Why am I going to try out if you're just going to go ahead with the senior? Because that's what you guys do here in college." She said, "No, we don't do that. I don't do that." She said, "So you come out and you try out. And if you're the better player and you're only a freshman and that senior shortstop isn't as good as you start. And you will try out that way every single year. There's no guarantee for you either. So if there's somebody the next year that's better than you, you're not playing shortstop that year." She says, "Okay, Coach, that's fair. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm used to." And so I tried out, and so all that to say, if that never happened, if she hadn't taken time out of her busy schedule to come see me and have that little chat with me, I wouldn't be standing here today. So thank you, OD. I want to close in thanking the people that are here for me today. And so I want to do that by having them stand up as I call out the grouping, because I can't give just the names, Bill, and we'll be here all night. So I'd like to just call out the groupings of how I know these folks. I would like to first call out my older brother, Joe, who was an incredible baseball player. And he taught me how to throw the ball. And so when people joke around that I had quite a toss to first base, that could hurt people at times, it was my brother Joe taught me how to throw. My sister Pam, I do want to thank her because she's the love. She brings all the love. She's not an athlete. She didn't teach me anything as far as sports go. But man, is she a great sister, and I wouldn't be here without her. And my extended family. So if they could all stand, everybody that's here, I've got some nieces here, a nephew, my grandniece, my niece and my grandniece came all the way from Albuquerque, New Mexico last night. And my grandniece is only 1.5 years, so thank you for making that trip. My high school friends that we still get along, we still get together annually. I want to have you stand up and recognize my high school friends from East Monroe High School. And then I do want to thank my teammates that are here, my college friends over here that are at my table, on the softball team, Mary Kerpiel, and the inductee, Kathy Norton, who I roomed with my senior year. Thank you. They came all the way from Maine. Not as far as New Mexico, but it's a trek. And then lastly, I want to thank all of my college girlfriends that are here. Wait, I missed, yes, I do want to thank all of my college girlfriends, but before that, I want to thank just the friends that I've made in life that decided that they wanted to be here tonight to recognize this honor with me and celebrate it with me. So to my friends in life, Foxy and there you go, Kathy and Kelly. And then lastly, to my college girlfriends, we're pretty close. When you get together with your college girlfriends now, and you can reminisce about those times in 1984 to 1988, about all the good times you had, all the silly times you had, those are the memories, and I cherish them. So I thank you all for coming out for me tonight. I appreciate it. I think I have 4 tables here tonight, right, Dave? So thank you. And in closing, I do want to congratulate everyone that's part of this inductee class. It's pretty amazing to be a part of this group, so thank you very much.
Don Jones graduated from Westfield State as one of the top running backs in the history of the program. He was a key member of the 2001 Owls football team that went unbeaten in the regular season, won the NEFC championship, and made the program's first and only to date appearance in the NCAA playoffs. Jones formed a dynamic duo in the backfield for Coach Marino's team alongside fellow Hall of Fame inductee Sean Lyman. Don ran for 1,000+ years in both his junior and senior years. His 1,281 yards in the 2003 season, when he earned honorable mention All-New England Football Conference honors, was the 3rd best single season in Owls history, and his 3,126 career yards were also the 3rd best in school history at the time of his graduation. He scored 25 touchdowns for 150 points in his career as an Owl. A graduate of Springfield Central High School, Don was a 2-time All-Western Mass selection in football and the Norman Dagenet Award winner his senior year as the most valuable high school player in Western Mass. He was inducted into the Springfield Public Schools Hall of Fame in 2011. After graduating from Westfield State with a degree in political science in 2005, Coach Jones has gone on to a long and productive coaching career at the high school, junior college, and NCAA Division I, II, and III levels, serving as both an assistant and a head coach. Among his many coaching experiences, he coached the defensive line at Westfield State in 2012-13 and was part of an Ivy League winning team at Dartmouth. President Thompson loves when we can say Westfield State and Ivy League in the same sentence. Since 2019, Don has settled in as the head coach at Hudson Valley Community College in Troy, New York, winning 5 Region III championships and earned a number 4 in the nation ranking in 2024. Don is married to Rihanna Stevens-Jones and has 2 children, Rebecca and Donovan. Please join me in welcoming Don Jones to the Westfield State University Athletic Hall of Fame.
All right, let's hope we don't screw this up. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Linfest and the Hall of Fame Selection Committee. When I was emailed or called about the nomination, I thought it was a joke. I wasn't sure if whoever was emailing me was somebody I didn't recognize who the person was. So So I had to go look up to see who is this Dave guy, why is he emailing me saying I'm into a Hall of Fame. Let me make sure that this guy is actually on the website before I accept this. Okay, having confirmed in the affirmative that yes, this was real, yes, I've been nominated, yes, Dave also called and said that I got in. The excitement, the emotions were pretty high. When somebody recognizes you for the career that you've had, it's always a good thing to be recognized, whether it's by your peers or by those who are on a committee, or whatever the case is, of what you have done in the time that you were a student athlete. So it was one of the very proud moments of my football career. Now, what does this induction mean to me? A lot of times, when you get an individual award, it's because when a person or group of people appreciate or consider what you have done to be extraordinary or above and beyond what's expected. For me, to get an award like this, to get inducted into a Hall of Fame, means that there are a lot of people here, and they won't know. A lot of my teammates, okay, a lot of guys that have done tremendous things, are still doing tremendous things. To get 3,000 yards means that you have to have an offensive line that's taking care of a lot of business. Okay, you have to have a coach that believes in the running game, even when your offensive coordinator might not agree with it. Okay. But in all seriousness, when you get inducted into a Hall of Fame, there's a lot of people, especially in this game of football, that have to do a lot of things right. And I benefited from a lot of things right that a lot of people have done. So for every 25 touchdowns, there's 10 other people that had to do something just right for me to be able to get that touchdown. Okay? And I hope if they are watching, especially my offensive line, all of you guys, all of you meatheads, who I love dearly, thank all of you. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you every time when I was interviewed, every time we scored, whatever the case was. It was always because of the offensive line. I was just a recipient, being able to run very fast, with a lot of people, but it was their blocking, their effort, their determination that allowed me to be on this stage today. So if you guys are watching, thank you, big fellas. I also want to thank my teammates, okay, if they're watching. Again, as I've said before, if you get inducted, especially in the game of football, there's a lot of things that have to go your way, not only offensively, but defensively as well. Defensive teammates are just as important as your offensive teammates, as your offensive line, as your coaching staff. There's never, one person, regardless of skill. I've played with, I think, about 4 or 5 Hall of Famers on my particular 4 teams. Even as great as they were, okay, we all needed each other in order to be successful. Okay, it wasn't just my show or LP's show or Maddie's show or anything like that. We all needed each other to be successful. Okay? So if they're watching, okay, especially wide receivers, who did a lot of good blocking, I appreciate you guys too. Next, and there may be some people that may not know this, but I was a member of Residential Life. Is Kathy Bradford still here? She is still here. I served as a resident assistant for 3 years, and as a community assistant for 1. Now, this is a little interesting, because I applied to be a resident assistant as a complete joke. I kid you not. It was a complete joke. They said, hey, Don, why don't you go ahead and go out and apply to be a resident assistant? Yeah, sure, why not? Right? They're never going to do it. they're not gonna pick a football player, a freshman football player. That's never gonna happen, not in a million years. So I apply. Why not? I get a letter that says, hey, you have to come in for the interview. Okay, fine. At the time, the interview was like this. It was a big group setting, and if I recall, you were in a circle, okay, like, I don't want to say like an AA meeting, something like that, right? And the person that's doing the questioning is asking you questions about various experiences, right? How do you deal with this, or do you have anything with that, or whatever the case was. This was a long time ago. So I said, all right, so I answered the questions as best as I could, right? And I tell my friends, and I say, yeah, I went to the interview. It was a little different. It's a lot different than my football brethren, but, you know, they're okay. They're cool people, but they're not going to hire me. It's just not going to happen, guys. Like, you know, like it was a different world. And those who have been in the resident life world know that it's vastly different from a rough and tumble football environment. So I get a letter, and they say, well, we lied. We're going to hire you. I said, why the hell would you do that? But at the time, you got a single room, you got a little bit of money for your pocket, and you got to do, a pretty good job. So I said, okay, I'll take it, no problem. But during those 3 years of working for Dr. John Conlon, who was the residence life director here for, I want to say, 30 years. Okay, Kathy Bradford's in the back. She was the associate director of the residence life for a long time. I learned just as much about leadership, about being a teammate in a different capacity, how to deal with different, I won't say events, but different, whether it's a crisis, different situations, different people, okay, that I've been accustomed to, and different ways of life. Back then, there was a lot of diversity, and not just diversity of color of skin, but diversity of lifestyle. All of those things, okay, from start to finish, I learned at residential life. And that's just as important for my development as at the time, young man, just as it was with working with Coach Marino and the coaching staff on the football side. So if Dr. John Conlon or any of my old resident directors are watching, I thank you guys too. And I greatly appreciate everything that you've done for me in terms of teaching me some things that maybe I did not want to learn at the time, and some things that I needed to learn at the time. I think those things were very, very, very important, not only for the development of a student athlete, but the development of a young man aspiring to become a man, and now is in the community working and teaching other young people the same lessons that were taught to me way back when. So for Dr. Conlon, I always thank you. I appreciate you. If you're watching, thank you very much. Next, a little more lighter, to my coaches, most especially Coach Marino. Now, Coach Marino, I'm sure there's a lot of people in this room who know Coach Marino very well. Okay, I can attest that one of Coach Marino's best qualities is that you always knew exactly what he wanted. You knew exactly what the program was about. You knew exactly what he expected of you. You knew exactly what you were supposed to be doing. I can still advise you, say, we want to play great defense, we want to win the kicking game, we want to be physical, and our passing game will be as sophisticated as you idiots can figure out. Okay? So as long as we didn't screw it up in the passing game, we can do a whole bunch of different things. But if we weren't all that bright, then it was going to be very, very, very basic. Okay? Now, generally, my other coach at the time was Coach Tim Brillo, who I affectionately called Coach Marks, after the St. Louis Rams coach back in '99, who enjoyed throwing it more than he did running it. Now, being a running back, that obviously deeply offended me, because I won the football just as much as the quarterbacks and the wide receivers did. Now, to his credit, even though I've gave him a lot of help for a lot of years, his play calling wasn't that bad. I actually got the ball. Okay. But I had Coach Marino on my side, to where Coach Brillo kind of got a little wild on the stick. I would say, hey, Coach, what's going on? Help me out. Hey, Brillo, how about some of these running plays that we got here, right? Yeah, Coach, go get them. Okay? Another one of Coach Marino's greatest qualities is always making sure that we were going in the right direction and redirecting us if we did something untoward. Now, generally not generally, but out here, I think the green's out this way. Is that correct? Okay. So, Sunday morning, 8 o'clock, 8 a.m., okay, especially after a win, Coach Marino, in his infinite wisdom, would call for practice. All right? So practice would be right out here, on the green. Everybody would have to muster on the green. It was simply stretching after a game and running back and forth. Doesn't sound very strenuous, shouldn't be too hard for a bunch of 18 to 21-year-olds. Except, the problem was the 18 and 21-year-olds had indulged a little too much the night before. And so waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning proved to be a struggle. And certainly meeting Coach Marino first thing in the morning was even more of a struggle, who apparently knew that we were doing probably some things we weren't supposed to be doing. And wanted to make sure that he understood that we were doing it, and to make sure that we didn't do it again. For those who don't know, that just so he would have us out there, 8 o'clock, running back and forth, and and I'll use myself as an example. He'd say, hey, Donnie Jones, I know you were out there boozing, you were out there smoking and joking, smelling like a brewery, and he was probably right. And you're not supposed to be out there doing that. Said, yes, Coach, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Of course, that was an opposite lie when you do it. However, growing a little bit older, Coach Marino neglected to mention the fact that he might have been just as imbibed as we were. But he didn't seem to run with us. I consider that to be a little bit unfair, Coach Marino. But in all seriousness, all of my coaches, okay, Coach Brillo, Coach Killer, Coach Obie, Coach Marino, Coach Levante, not only have I known them as coach during my 4 years as a player, I've known them as men, I've known them as fathers, as husbands, now grandfathers, pillars of their community, pillars of this university, will always come back, will always been steadfast. And I would think one of the things that a coach probably looks for is when they're finished with their career, have they made a difference? Have their values and what they've taught, has it taken hold? Have they done what they've been called to do? I can say with certainty, Coach Marino, that everything that you've taught, everything that you've said, all the coaches, you men have made a difference. You men have made a tremendous difference. You guys have helped not only myself, but plenty of young men, my teammates after that, or students after that. And I hope that you men are just as proud of your work coming here to watch it, not only watch me get inducted, I think you guys watch LP, and Maddie, and Jesse, and Sway, and on and on and on. You men have made a difference. And I thank you. I thank you tremendously. Next, I want to thank my mother and my grandmother. My grandmother's no longer with us. They attended every game with the exception of the Maine Maritime game. My mother was very vocal. If she felt that the play calling wasn't sufficient, and she would make sure to express her displeasure to Coach Brillo to the point where I had to inform her that, Mom, there's only one person that can express their displeasure of the play calling to Coach Brill, and that's me, not you, Mike. So cut Coach Brill some slack. He's doing the best he can. Okay? But I wanted to thank them publicly as well because they attended every game from freshman year to senior year, with the exception of obviously any away or the main maritime game. And that's a lot. You know, Saturday, it's a lot. And lastly, in 2001, I think there's football on the table over there. In 2001, there were two very important games. I think one you guys call it the game. Is that correct? Versus Worcester State. Okay, that's one. It's a very important game. It's a very good game. The more important game, which encapsulates really my time with my teammates, what the football program then and now means, was the next game, the conference title game. Now in that game, there is a play that Coach Kill calls like an all effort play. Like this is an example of what it means to be a Westfield State football player giving tremendous effort under duress. Fine. Okay? That play is me running and tackling a cornerback from behind after he intercepts the pass to give ourselves a chance to stop. Now, the backstory to that, and what people who are not initiated don't know, is that one, that play started because I got my rear end whipped. I was on the floor trying to block somebody and lost badly, very badly. And in fact, I happened to watch, I think our quarterback, either he got hit and threw it to the other guy who happened to be an All-American corner for Nichols. And so I'm on the ground watching this guy run the other direction, and I'm thinking to myself, holy Christ, right? I get my butt whipped. LP throws it to the wrong color jersey. I better get up and do something about that. So I said, well, you know, so I get up, I run as fast as I can. Thankfully, I tackle the guy. And in those type of circumstances, it's a huge momentum swing, right? The team can really implode on itself. This team did not. The coaches did not. Nobody said, LP, you so-and-so, Jones, what the heck are you doing? And I remember this vividly. Every one of my defensive teammates ran onto the field and said, thank you. Thank you for giving us a chance. We appreciate it. We'll take care of business. Don't worry about it. Okay? The next 3 plays, we stop them cold. They go for a field goal. They either miss it or it gets blocked. The look of defeat and deject on Nichols' part, even though we still had to run out the clock, they knew that the game was over with, that they had no chance of beating us. None. And to me, that's an owl effort. That's what it means to be an owl, whether it's football player, soccer player, softball player, whatever that means to you. The team has to stick together. The first 2 people I've heard speak, the number one thing that I heard on both accounts were, my teammates still call me, we still hang out, we still communicate. They still have my back. They still make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Now, obviously not on the field, but they're all checking to see, and they're all sticking together. So I would imagine if we went back to the time when they were a young man and a young woman, I would imagine that all those teammates would be sticking together. And if you had to deal with one of them, you would have to deal with all of them. Without question. That's what I got from those first 2 inductees. The reason we won that championship, the reason we won 30 games, the reason why we were as good as we were, wasn't necessarily because of talent. We had talent. I think that's obvious. But if you dealt with one of us, you were definitely going to deal with all of us. There's no question about that. And to me, that is exactly what an OWL effort is all about. We stick together. We take care of each other. We make sure that you have your brother or your sister's back. And hope that they do the same for you. It'll be more important, and I've learned this, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 10 years from now, I might can come back on this stage and convince you I was the best running back to ever come through here. If I have a couple of drinks, I might tell you I might be the best back in the conference. The stories get more Herculean as we age. Okay? The stories get more Herculean as we age. Okay? Instead of 2 touchdowns, I might have scored 3. Right? At the bar, I might tell you I scored 4. But, right? But when my teammates call me, when I call them, they pick up the phone. We take care of each other. When I call my coach, when I call Coach Marino, Coach Killer, Coach Obi, Coach Labonte, it's like it's 2001 again. Donnie, what do you need? We'll help you out. We'll take care of you. And those type of things have generally, not generally, but have very much made my time here worth everything. Everything. I loved it here as a student, I loved it here as a player, I loved my coaches. I still see great things with what Mr. Lenfest and his staff is doing. And I just hope to see it continue. I really and truly do. Thank you guys, thank you for listening to me.
Gonna have a tough act to follow. Don, that really picked up momentum as you went along. You did open with 2 of the least surprising facts I've heard all night. 1, President's life sat in a circle. And 2, Steve Marino wanted to run the football. I was interviewing Steve after a game one day. He threw the ball deep on the first play. I went down to talk to him afterwards. I said, you really caught him off guard with that first play. He goes, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I want to run the ball off tackle, get the game going. My offensive coordinator's telling me throw the ball down the field. I don't know what we're doing. I've also told that it's last call at the back of the room, so if you want to step up and get a drink, we encourage you to do that, but it is last call for our bar. And on we go. Drew Soltysiak was one of the top big meet performers in the history of Westfield State track and field, culminating his 4-year career as a 2-time All-American in the javelin throw. Soltysiak, who majored in movement science at Westfield State, finished 3rd in the 2008 NCAA Division III National Championships with a throw of 63.06 meters, after finishing 8th in the nation at the 2007 championships. He earned All-American honors 6 times and All-ECAC status 3 times. In 2008, he placed 1st in both the New England Division III and the ECAC championships, and he was the New England Alliance and MASCAC champion during his junior and senior seasons. After his senior year at Westfield State, Drew was selected as the Massachusetts State Collegiate Athletic Conference Howard C. Smith Male Scholar Athlete of the Year as a senior student athlete who excelled both academically and athletically while maintaining a high GPA. After graduating Westfield, he placed 3rd at the Penn Relays Olympic Development Javelin Throw in 2009, and then threw a personal best 65.71 meters in a meet at Icon Stadium in New York City. He recently resumed competing at the Masters level, where he earned a silver medal, Masters World Champion, runner-up, 40-plus age category at the World Masters Athletics Championships in Gainesville, Florida in 2025, and is currently training to compete in the World Masters Athletics Championships in Daegu, South Korea in 2026. Drew was a 3-sport captain in high school, competing in track and field, wrestling, and cross-country at Westfield High, where he's also the Western Mass champion in the javelin throw. He currently resides in his hometown of Westfield and serves as the senior manager at Collins Aerospace in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. Please join me in welcoming Drew Soltysiak to the Westfield State Athletic Hall of Fame.
Good evening, everyone. My son Jonah just graduated from preschool this past spring, and his classroom was known as the Owl's Classroom. And not long after, on some random car ride we had, he had a joke he wanted to tell me. And he said, "Hey Dad, what do owls drink?" And I asked, "What, Jonah?" And with the biggest grin, he said, "Hoot beer." And it made me laugh, but it also made me think how fitting that a few months after Jonah graduated as an owl, I'm standing here tonight being honored as an owl. I want to start by thanking the Hall of Fame committee and everyone who makes this possible. It's humbling to be included among so many incredible athletes and coaches who have shaped the legacy of Westfield State. The work you put in behind the scenes, researching, organizing, and keeping these stories alive, it means a lot to all of us standing up here tonight. I've been fortunate to have some amazing coaches and mentors along the way, people who shaped not just my career, but the person who I am today. Coach John Hibbert, he was my high school wrestling coach at Westfield High School, and he played a huge role in building my toughness and discipline. Wrestling teaches accountability in a way few other sports do. You can't hide from the outcome. During my senior year, I had a pretty tough loss, and everything hit at once with overwhelm at the next practice. This loss, the school workload, training, planning for college, and just life in general. And it was the first time I ever felt the full weight of it all. And I remember chatting with Coach Hibbert afterward, and we talked for a while. And I told him I needed, and I was going to take a break from it all. And he gave me some advice that didn't pressure me at all. And the takeaway was simple but meaningful. Take care of yourself and come back if you're ready. And that stuck with me. Toughness isn't about pushing through. It's also about knowing when to step back, reset, and refocus. Coach Sean Jennings, he was my high school track coach, and he also has his own legacy here at Westfield State. He actually held the school record for the most field goals in a season, a football record, up until 2011. And that same steady focus and drive carried right into the way he coached. Sean started coaching during my junior year in high school, and it was clear right away that he came from strong roots. As his father had built many championship programs from Brockton, Massachusetts, that set a standard of excellence that definitely rubbed off. Coach Jennings carried that same discipline, pride, and competitiveness into our program. And he believed in me early on, and he always noticed my technical aptitude and how I liked helping others on the team. He really encouraged that side of me and often had me lead other workouts for the throwers. And later on, I even had the chance to work alongside him as an assistant coach for a couple of years. That experience made me appreciate how much work and heart goes into coaching. It made me love the sport even more. And then there was Coach Sean O'Brien, Coach OB, my college track coach. He was the kind of coach who could balance being serious without letting his personality show through at just the right times. I'll never forget being at Nationals in Wisconsin with Marley Harris. We'd gone to a grocery store with Coach OB to grab some snacks, fruit, and other supplies. And we were all there for a few days. Usually when I go on these meets, I carry a weighted ball with me for loading up my arm, just to have something a little bit heavier than a javelin before throwing. But I didn't bring it because I packed light going on an airplane. So I thought maybe a melon would do. I was testing out a few different ones, trying to find the perfect weight by holding each one up in my throwing arm above my head. And suddenly I heard this deadpan voice behind me. And it's Drew, we didn't come here to nationals for you to be feeling up melons. And Marley was about 10 feet away from me, and we both froze for a second, and then we just burst out laughing. That was just OB's charm, being a serious coach, but with his dry humor. And it brought a perfect balance between letting you be loose and getting the job done. He's steady, consistent, and respected. And looking back, I realized how much of an impact that steady presence has. Not just on results, but on how well put together and competitive his track program has been throughout the years. And it's fitting that Marley is now a Hall of Famer herself, coaching alongside him today, continuing that same tradition of excellence. And of course, no career happens alone. Two of my teammates, the throwers, the sprinters, the jumpers, and everyone in between, you each played a role in shaping what this program means. And one connection in particular stands out, Dave Bergeron. I first crossed paths with Dave during my senior year at high school, once at States, and once at a summer meet. I only remember him as a spiky-haired kid from Northbridge, that with a cast on his wrist, who threw javelin. Fast forward a bit, I start seeing that same spiky-haired kid across Westfield, first at Dunkin' Donuts, then walking down the sidewalk on campus, and then he was actually in some of my classes in my major. We were classmates, eventually teaming up on a handful of school projects, working late in the woodwork lab. But of course, we were also teammates, and eventually we became full-fledged training partners his last couple years at college. We put in countless hours together, workouts after morning classes, regular practices, trips to clinics, and you name it. Having someone beside you who matched your intensity and held you accountable, that's how you really reach your full potential. And by the end, he wasn't just a teammate, he was like a brother. Dave was a two-time All-American before me, and I was lucky to follow his footsteps the next 2 seasons. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame a handful of years ago, and it's great to share this honor with him now. I never thought I wanted to be a track athlete and a javelin thrower when I was younger. All the years of baseball and playing catch, that's what I thought my spring and summers would always be. Then came high school baseball tryouts. And I told John Ware earlier today that everybody has their own how I became a javelin thrower story, and here's mine. I remember standing way off on the sideline during baseball tryouts, doing a throwing drill with another player. We had to throw about 50 feet away from each other, and we were both standing on the same basketball sideline. But that day, I had the yips, and I couldn't throw straight to save my life. I think my partner caught maybe about 1 out of 10 throws that he had. And instead of throwing down the sideline, I managed to throw 30 feet to the right, hitting the basketball backboard. And needless to say, I didn't make the baseball team that year. And my brother Jason, who'd been through that similar transition before, from baseball to track and field, he kept on asking me to join the track team. Although my freshman year, I didn't want to join because there was no other freshmen on the team, he finally convinced me my sophomore year. And looking back at that missed baseball tryout, that became one positive failure moment, a setback that forced that refocus in my life. And it led me to one of my greatest passions. Jason pulled me into the sport. He got me hooked on track, and especially javelin. And that year, I joined the team. He became Western Mass champion. And seeing what he accomplished lit a fire in me wanting to be just like him. And realizing this was something I could teach him. And my brother AJ, who wasn't here with us today, thank you for teaching me so many things in life, but especially setting up my first weightlifting program. and my little brother Nick, who was always there when I needed a partner or drills or someone to throw to when nobody else was around. Those small moments meant more than we probably realize. And my dad, he gave his boys his throwing genes, but he also gave me the know-how. He was an all-New England high school thrower back in the 70s and even pitched semi-pro baseball for a year. Those early backyard throwing sessions that we had, breaking things down, teaching fundamentals, that's where it all started. Everything that brought me here today began in that backyard. And of course, my mom, my biggest fan, she was a steady presence through everything, the early mornings, the travel, the meals, and the sport. Thank you, Mom. Tonight reminds me that no matter where you start, if you keep showing up, keep believing and keep working, you can turn every setback into something that moves you forward. And before I close, I just want to thank everyone once again, my family, my coaches, my teammates in the committee, for being such an important part of this journey. It's because of all of you tonight that I get to stand here tonight and share this moment. And as I mentioned a few months ago, I watched Jonah graduate as an owl, and I couldn't help but smile. Oh, it's all become full circle. And at his preschool graduation, I did take a moment to tell him what a great day to be an owl. And standing here tonight, surrounded by the people and memories that made this journey possible, I can say it once more. What a great day to be an owl.
It is definitely a great day to be an owl. One of the top all-around players in the history of Owls women's basketball, Jennifer Ashton, graduated with 1,524 career points, second on the Owls all-time list at the time of her graduation. With an uncanny knack for knowing where the ball would go next, Jen graduated the Owls all-time steal leader with 440, more than 120 more than the next player on the list. In 112 games played, Jen's Owls teams were 71 and 41 in her tenure, including a record-breaking 2015 season where the Owls finished 24-6, the most wins in a season in the history of the program, and advanced to the ECAC New England Tournament Championship game. She ranks in the program's top 10 all-time for games played, points, field goals made and attempted, free throws made and attempted, free throw percentage, assists, steals, and blocks. Jen set a single season record for steals with 126 and steal average 4.84, and set single game records for both steals and assists. She had 13 of each. Jen was named the MASCAC Player of the Year as a senior, Conference Rookie of the Year as a freshman, and was a 4-time All-Conference selection with 2 first-team picks. She was both a NUBA and ECAC All-New England All-Star and a D3Hoops.com All-Northeast Region pick as a senior. She also played 4 years of golf on the fledgling Owls women's golf team. She was honored with Westfield State's John Curdy Award after her senior year for her 4-year contribution to Owls athletics. A dual citizen of the United States and the United Kingdom, Jen went overseas to play professional basketball, playing in England for 3 years with Sheffield and Leicester, before spending her final season in Sweden. She averaged nearly 10 points and 5 assists in her professional career, which earned her selection for the Great Britain National Team Training Camp in 2017. Jen currently works as a court officer, and she's a past referee for men's basketball, working her way through the officiating ranks, having called games as high as the collegiate level. She's also the proud mother of a newborn baby, Owen, and resides in Haverhill with her partner, Sean McCarthy. Please welcome Jennifer Ashton to the Westfield State University Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Dave, and the rest of the Hall of Fame committee for selecting me for this honor, as well as whoever nominated me for this this award, and congratulations to my fellow inductees on your successful careers. I'd like to preface with, I'm not standing before you tonight because of my performance out on the golf course. The fact that there's even photos as proof is concerning. I simply was a member of another fantastic team on this campus, one of the most enjoyable programs I've ever been a part of, as well as the most humbling position I've ever taken. You're welcome, Coach Lownds, for coming in dead last at every tournament. Also, thank you for giving me some sort of athletic outlet outside of basketball. Going to golf was so relaxing and fun, it completely cleared my mind of anything else going on in life. I'm sure it was a lot easier than having to scold me for sneaking into the Woodward Center after hours. And sorry, Coach Bertini, for snapping your driver. My addiction of basketball began when I was 8 years old. I wouldn't be here today without role models like Jim Keenan and Chris Hunt at the Boys and Girls Club, who allowed me to shoot baskets every day after school and at summer camp. Whenever I go back to Salisbury to visit, I always picture little bowl cut me in the gym, challenging staff to one-on-one games I knew I'd never win, reminiscing about giant knockout games we'd have out on the blacktop. My love for the game came through coaches like my dad. Scott, thank you for teaching me the fundamentals, coaching all my rec teams, and allowing me to tag along to all of your basketball nights. You always made sure I was playing for something bigger than myself, making sure I got everyone on the team involved. It's those teams and that early coaching that shaped me into the player that's being honored here tonight, so thank you. Thank you to my mom, who watched every game. Your super fandom was always top-notch, not only for me, but the entire team. Being a fan and not a critic or coach, the support and always showing up was the most important thing. I hope you're as proud of me as I am to be your daughter. To my high school coach, thank you for believing in me. It's a hard job coaching girls high school basketball, but you never gave up on us or me. Thank you for allowing me to grow as a young player and never allowing the drama that is high school to knock me down. The countless games we went and scouted probably added up to more than we played, but they helped me see the game from a different angle and prepare me for my future career. How could we ever forget the buzzer beater road victory at an undefeated Danvers senior year? Thank you for the memories there and still being in my circle now. To my AAU coach, Kevin Barbosa, thank you for the vigorous training. I was very well prepared for college practices thanks to your sessions. You taught me that your mind always gives up before your body and to push through the self-doubt to see just how far your physical limits really are. Being able to still see you in the girls' basketball circuit today makes me happy, and I'll never hesitate to tell your players just how lucky they are to have someone who cares about their success as much as you do. I'd like to thank my Westfield State coaches, Coach Bertini, Coach Zabek, and OJ. Although OJ lost her battle with breast cancer, to begin our senior season, I carried her with me throughout that season and my professional career. From my freshman year, she always had my back. She helped me deal with the hate that comes with being a good player and added swagger to my offensive game. It was an added bonus that we both wore the same size sneaker. The program lost someone really special that October 15th in 2014. I wish she was here today so I could thank her for all she's done for me. Coach Zabek was always the voice of reason. When he spoke to you, you listened and tried to do exactly what he said, unless you're Jill Valley. His one gripe with me on the court was always that I needed to shoot the ball more, and off the court that he had to give me his brown bagged Oreos on the road. Somehow they made me play better. Zabek was always available to talk during the times where basketball wasn't fun. He always had an ear to listen to me and supported the don't tell Coach clause of our conversations. Thank you for being so grounded, supportive, and helping me see the game from different perspectives. Thank you, Coach Bertini, for recruiting me from day one. You were open and honest about the role you wanted me to play in the program, both on and off the court. You had a vision of turning the academic and social sides of this program in a more positive direction while winning games on the court. I hope what we accomplished off the court far surpassed what we did in the gym. The trust you had in me to lead gave me the confidence to thrive beyond Westfield, and I'll forever be grateful for the career you gave me, except for pulling me from blowout games as a freshman. Who knew they kept all these stats? You had me attend the Hall of Fame dinner my freshman year in 2011, telling me I'd be inducted one day, and here we are. And lastly, thank you to my teammates. My time at Westfield seemed to fly by, but the 4 seasons we had were also memorable in their own ways. We seemed to have a lot of bad luck with injuries. We suffered a lot of death around the program. Despite all the negatives, we always found a way to come together and play for each other. We motivated and uplifted each other, and we had each other's backs both on and off the court. That will always be the thing I'm most proud of with how we left this program. Thank you all for allowing me to be a team leader. For me, it was always about the team success, never about the stat lines. My line of motivation during games was always to play our best and stay locked in until coach got everyone in the game. Now she does that anyways. Our goal was always to win, and I hope you're proud of me now as you were then, and that you're all carrying your basketball careers with you throughout your adult lives. There's very few me moments I remember off the top of my head. Some games that have stuck with me throughout the years are the triple-double game I had at home as a freshman. I love stealing the ball more than I like shooting, and that game demonstrated that love with the single game record previously mentioned. The night I scored my 1,000th point at home junior year, we were playing Salem, which made it even sweeter, with some of my local hometown friends on the team. There was also a game at home where I had more points at halftime than the other team, which pops up on my mother's Facebook memories every year. My most favorite memories of the games were the local home supporters we had, the old group of gentlemen that sat at half court, as well as our parent pack that traveled on the road. My nephew spending his Christmas vacation with us one year. Sophomore year when we played at Bridgewater, and pregnant Coach Bertini threw her poor fetus Joe into the middle of a scuffle. That was her Tupac season. The trip junior year to Puerto Rico, playing a ranked out-of-region opponent. Coach deciding to finally check into the players versus alumni game over winter break, where she ended up in a walking boot. Now we no longer have the players versus coach alumni game. And of course, the 24-win senior season, previously mentioned. It's been bittersweet being back on campus this weekend. The memories made here help shape the woman people meet today. Playing overseas was an amazing experience, but nothing compares to the NCAA basketball played here in the MASCAD. I always loved when teammates, opponents, and coaches would ask where I played in college. I proudly answered with Westfield State. Nobody had ever heard of it or knew where it was. It always reminded me that it's not about what division you played in or where you went to school, but about how you made the most of your situation and opportunities that were presented to you. Westfield State was a beautiful part of my life that I'll cherish forever. It helped me achieve the career I'm in today. Being a part of a competitive sports team really benefits you in every walk of life. I'm thankful to have my young family be a part of such a tremendous honor. I haven't played basketball competitively since I let Sean beat me one-on-one. Losing that for that first state has given us such a beautiful life, and adding Owen to our family this past August has been the biggest blessing of my life. It's hard to believe that it's been 10 years since I wore an Owls jersey and attended this university. It's even harder to believe that I've now been inducted into the Westfield State Athletics Hall of Fame. This accomplishment is an award not just for me, but for all my teammates, coaches, family, and friends. So again, thank you all.
Congratulations, Jen. It's hard to believe that your offensive game needed more swagger. She asked where those golf pictures came from. They were at Mount Holyoke, and if you look at one of them, she wanted no part of me taking pictures of her golf game that day. The Hall of Fame committee started the Team of Distinction recognition in 2017 as a chance to honor some of the best teams in the history of the Westfield State Athletics program, and this group has been on the short list to be honored. We've had many notes, emails, subtle and not so subtle prompts that the 1975 baseball team should be recognized. The 1975 Westfield State University baseball team stands as the best of its generation among a string of successful teams and advanced farther in the NCAA regional tournament than any other Owls baseball team. The 1975 club finished with a record of 32 wins against just 8 losses, setting not only a program record for wins, but the most by any team in any sport at Westfield State, a record that would not be matched for 50 years until this past spring when our softball team tied but couldn't pass it. 7 members of the team have previously been inducted into the Westfield State Hall of Fame as individuals: Bob Kallstrom, Bill Weber, Carlton Steele, Gary Beard, Jack Doherty, Bob Moniz, and Mark Pananos. Bob Kallstrom led the Owls with 9 home runs and 41 RBI on the season. Jack Doherty led the club in batting at 405, and Steele led with 48 hits and 26 stolen bases. Bill Weber posted 9 wins on the mound, while Mark Pananos won 7 with a minuscule 1.26 earned run average that year. Owls head coach Ken Ralph was named the New England Coach of the Year for his efforts in leading the Owls and selected to coach in the New England All-Star Game at Holy Cross. The team opened the season 7-1 on their Southern trip and won the MASCAC title with a 17-1 record. The program made its first ever trip to the NCAA tournament and advanced to the NCAA regional tournament in Waltham, Mass, and battled out of the losers bracket into the tournament's championship game with a trip to the College World Series on the line for the winner. After losing the opener in the double elimination tournament to Lemoyne 4-1, the Owls topped Central Connecticut 8-5 behind a grand slam from Bob Kallstrom. The Owls beat Lemoyne and Brandeis on day 2, then defeated Montclair State 3-2 in the opener the final day, before eventually running out of arms and falling 8-1 in the double elimination final. The underclassmen on that 1975 Owls team used that season as a launching pad for the program, beginning a magical stretch where Westfield would go on to make 5 straight NCAA tournaments and 7 in the next 10 seasons. This group of men has also been a key alumni group as we've expanded our fundraising efforts to support Westfield State Athletics through the Owl Club. They were one of our first reunion groups to come back to a game and have supported our annual Owl Club golf tournament, routinely bringing 3 to 5 foursomes to play in the event. And I have to highlight Bob Ben, Bob Mayo, and Jack Moscow, who were our guests of honor a few years ago at the golf tournament, for all they have done in supporting us and in their charity efforts in their communities with the Boston Marathon Walk, the Run to Home Base, and the Woburn Lions Club Vision initiatives. So, we probably shouldn't have made them wait 50 years for this honor. I'm extremely pleased to welcome the 1975 baseball team to the Westfield State Athletic Hall of Fame as a team of distinction, and I'd like to welcome Bob Berriman, one of the seniors from the team, to present his comments and introduce his teammates who are present today. Bob, come on up.
Good evening. The last speaker. But I always heard, every time I went to a show or anything, they always had the headliner last, right? But look at those guys. Look at that. I mean, where could you find a group of people like that?
Detention center.
Not out in public, probably. Scholar athletes? I'm not sure. But again, thank you for including us. I'd like to congratulate all the inductees tonight up here, along with the others that have been announced that are in the crowd. It's really difficult to participate in a sport. In college, and attend classes and try to pass classes, another problem. You have to love it with a passion. Today, about only 7% kids that play sport in high school play in college. Think about those numbers. And about half of those actually graduate. It's pretty scary. But for these people to be inducted into this Hall of Fame is extraordinary. Now as for our team, I'd like to thank the committee for including us. 50 years, took a long time. Look at these guys out here, you know, really. Included to the team of distinction, it's an honor to take this group of nitwits that we had, set a new bar for the university, and basically start out a program that went to, as David said, 5 straight NCAA tournaments over the years. We played 40 games in about 6 weeks. You think about that, it's, you know, we played right out there, March and April, May, half of May maybe. Not very warm weather usually. Playing with wooden bats a lot of times, those hurt when you hit it the wrong way. But again, it was a lot of games in a very short period of time. You compare that to the major leagues, they play 162 games over 8 months. You play 40 in 6 weeks. To be able to do that, to be able to have the pitching, the people to be able to do that is quite an achievement, and we're very, very proud of that. We didn't have pitch counts. Our pitch counts were when the pitcher's arm fell off. To think that this has been 50 years, and I'm up here speaking because I'm the oldest of the team, but over 50 years, 50 teams, at least 1,000 players, no one has matched this record. It's pretty impressive and pretty scary to think that 32-8, 800% winning percentage that's held up this long. And we're very proud of the fact that we have a great program here at Westfield State, and we were part of that, and we appreciate it. I got this down to 52 minutes, so we're good. As I mentioned, we were lucky to play our home games right out there. Right in the middle of the campus, we had walk-by fans. I'm sure we took the blame for a lot of our friends missing classes on a nice day. We had our guys with kegs of beer out on the bleachers. We didn't do it during the game, but we thought of it. We also had a big home field advantage. You know, we had other teams come in here that were always distracted by the beautiful young women that walked by. Made it very difficult. We actually had streakers run through us during the game. I still wonder how a friend of mine back in school, Rob, dealt with riding streaking on his bike. That had to hurt. It's all.
Oh, man.
One of our rituals we had out there too was we always did this before each game. We had a team joke. We all went into the outfield. Somebody told a joke. Usually coach had a dirty joke or something. But anyway, we told a joke. We all laughed. We came running back into the field to play the team, to go out on the field. And they had to wonder why we were laughing. We weren't laughing at them, but we were laughing. And we appreciated that. I am speaking here today on behalf of the two other seniors, Bob Kallstrom mentioned and Billy Weaver, who couldn't be here tonight. And our coaches, Ken Ralph and Ken McGarry. Coach Ralph made a trip up from North Carolina with his 2 sons to take part of this. We never knew how old he was. But we always thought he looked like he was our age when we played, and we didn't understand how a 20-year-old could have 3 kids. But he was great. When I came to Westfield in '71, Coach McGarry had just graduated from here. He became an important part of us and was a very successful coach going forward with his team, and added in his other 4 NCAA tournaments. As far as Coach Ralph, we have a lot of stories we could tell, some even in public. He became head coach of this team in my sophomore year, and at the time, no Westfield State team had ever won 20 baseball games in a season. In 1973, we won 21. 1974, we won 25. 1975, we won 32. That's because of him. Now I get to do the fun part about Coach Ralph. Some quotes. I'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. And we did. Remember, the most important thing about you being here at school is your education, your classes. Make sure you attend them. Make sure you do everything you're supposed to. Oh, and by the way, we have 5 double headers this week. We have batting practice on the field at 11:15, or the bus is leaving by 10. So you can pick which one you want on that. In his first year coaching, we heard a lot of very unique comments. Jumpin' jelly. This is how he swore at us. Holy buckets. Bite your lip, in other words, keep your mouth shut. Later we were after dealing with us for a couple of years, things changed a little bit. He started to make other comments that I can't speak of right now. But he made us a team. He made us accountable. And I guarantee that every one of us on this team thinks of him, Coach McGarry's comments, all our life. As far as the team was concerned, in '75, we inherited what we consider this very, quote, unique group of freshmen. Normally, the best thing you can say about a freshman is they become sophomores. But they actually turned out to be some pretty good players, integral to our team's success. Sophomores and juniors that were on this team committed themselves to be the best and continue with great success over the next number of years. Our attitude was simple. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. We believe letting the other guys be the losing part. I'd also like to bring up Professor Ed Abar for writing about this team and giving us exposure, recognition. For years, Westfield State was treated like second-hand citizen. He helped make us. He helped bring the college to a different level. We had to fight for respect. Little Westfield wasn't supposed to be that good in any sport, and they were. I told I keep this under 52 minutes. I actually will shorten it. We're just a group of guys that smelled bad. I'm not sure how we wash uniforms. Did you ever do that? I was thinking about that the other day. I mean, we played game after game after game. We always had uniforms. I'm not sure where they came from or whatever we did, but we did have them. We were a family of brothers with a common goal. Things we learned together carried on successful careers, our families, and now here we are to be honored 50 years later. I'm ever grateful and consider it a privilege to be part of this team. I thank you. Now, I get the honor of actually introducing this team that are here, and to have them come up, accept their honor, and hang here for 18 pictures. I'm going to start with Carl Abert. Gary Beard. Bobby Ben. There's a couple of the freshmen right there. Dave Clivio. Jack Doherty. Mike Gothier. The next one just appeared from Tennessee today, Steve Mancini. the year, Bobby Mayo. Wouldn't be reminiscent of this guy, Jack Moscow. Ralph Dobowski. Mark Bananos. Steve Perry. Mike Sampson. Fred Sim. Carlton Steele. A little story about Carlton in our game against Central Connecticut. In the last inning, I was chasing a ball down, and Carlton made the most important comment he's made probably the 4 years I knew him. He's running along from center field towards me in left field, and he yells, "Look up." The ball was there. One other person on this list that I would like to bring up, and that's that in the 50 years of this team, surprisingly, we will have one person that's not with us any longer, our catcher, Larry Streikards, and we'd like to present the award to his wife, Debbie. Coach Ken McGarrian. And last but not least, the guy, Coach Ralph.
And not to omit our speaker, Bob Berryman.
I want to thank everybody for coming.
Yeah, I'm going to take my. It's like going on with the church book. Yeah. I'd like to see you guys break the record. Like 33 and 7. I'd like to see 32 and 8 would be good too.
A few housekeeping items as we conclude the evening. Tomorrow we have a full slate of athletic events, beginning with our men's soccer match with Anna Maria at 11 a.m. It's senior day. Coach Streeter has a real good side that went to the NCAA tournament last year. We look forward to a great game tomorrow. The football team kicks off at 2 p.m. against Plymouth State. Coach Conti's been molding this group into his style of football. He likes to run it too, Coach Marino. And I know they look forward to playing in front of a big crowd, and it looks like we got some vintage football weather tomorrow for homecoming. And after that, we'll wrap up the evening with field hockey hosting Bridgewater State, a battle of the top two teams in the league. And Coach Brown's team can set a school record for wins in a season with a win tomorrow, as they look back to get back to the NCAA tournament for the second straight year. Out at Alumni Field, we have our end zone patio area open inside of the stadium for those of you who would like to grab a beer or two while watching